Happy Wednesday! Thanks for joining me here tonight. We are going to embroider more on our Embroidery of the Month. This is the Bride of Frankenstein's Bouquet. We are really close to being finished. I think between today and tomorrow we will have this done, and tomorrow we will be able to take off the stick and stitch stabilizer as well. So thanks for joining me here. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make cute embroidery kits for the beginning crafter. And I'm here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time, and it's a time that we can relax and craft together. I'm here for about an hour, and I work on projects from beginning to end, so you can be part of the whole process. So thanks again for joining me. Here is the black version of the Embroidery of the Month. This is what the bundle comes with, this pretty Kona black. I think it's just really sweet. We got all these neutral colors. I'm trying to do it on a light colored fabric because I want to see the difference between the dark and light once we take off the stick and stitch stabilizer. We're just about there. So all right, let's get another hour of stitching in tonight. Thanks again for joining me. All right, hello everyone. Nice to see you all popping in. Okay, let's get down here tonight. We're going to get some close-up stitching again for this evening. So, all right, here is where we left off. We have all of the roses done. Basically, everything's done except for we have this tiny little bit of the bow, and then we have the white of the spider web. The web right here, and then the spider. So I think we'll pretty quickly get done with the bow, and we can move on to the white. I'm curious how the white will look against this light colored fabric. So this is an off-white. This is like an unbleached look, so we should be able to see it a little bit. If anything, it'll give some texture to the piece. I mean, obviously, it's going to be the most poppy part. When it's on the black, it's the most high contrast color to black. So we're going to be pretty low contrast between the white and the off-white. But that's what I'm curious to see when we're done with both of these. So all right, let's get stitching tonight. All right, thanks everyone for joining me again. All right, we have some pieces left over. So last time we worked on this, I was doing it on location at my mom and dad's house. I'm going to just get one piece out of here. We're doing those extra long pieces because we're doing that loop method of starting our stitch. And I'm just using, ultimately, 2 strands for this. But my mom made an additional one. So she made the black version. But she also made a version of it on like a pinky red color, and she turned that into a little bag, a zipper pouch, and it turned out so cute, you guys. So you can definitely, she stitched it without the spider and the web and without the thorns, and it just looked like a pretty bouquet, so that was nice. Oh, some of you guys are asking about last night's block. I actually haven't put it away yet, so here is last night's block. I'll get a little up higher so you can see the whole thing. But there we go. We did finish it. We stayed, I don't know, maybe 7 minutes later just to finish it. It only took 2 days to finish this whole thing, so that was crazy awesome. So that gave us a couple days to work on the embroidery to finish it up. I just love how it turned out. It's just so juicy. So we did finish this. So there's just 2 videos. So if you wanted to see last night's video, it's up on YouTube. You can zoom ahead if you wanted to look at any of the techniques we used for this. But I had so much fun, and it was fast, fast, fast. Now we're back to slow-mo world, back to stitching. But yeah, that was... that just felt good to finish something quickly. All right. We are doing the gosh, I can't even think now. The split stitch. So that's it. All right. I think we'll start right there. I think this bow kind of goes all the way up. Yeah. All right. So I'm doing my first little stitch, and then I'm going to go to the back, and I'm going to grab that loop. I'm going to go in between there. Then we'll pull tight, and that's all there is to the loop method. So now we can just get started right away. So that's pretty nifty, I think. Oh, good. Marie says that she downloaded the block today. So that block, what is it called again? The centered pinwheel, I believe. Yep, the centered pinwheel block. It's on. Oh, look at my nails. They match perfectly with it. But this is on the Aurifil block of the month. And it's aurabuzz.com. Or if you just look up Aurifil thread, you'll, in theory, eventually get to their blog. And it's free. So just look for the October designer block of the month. Their blog is pretty crowded, so you do have to kind of go through the photos and find the one that says October Embroidery of the Month. But it's not too far down on there. But yeah, it's for free. And if you upload your finished block to their blog, there's instructions on how to do that. You'll be entered to win a whole pile of their color builder series threads. So mine was the Tuscany. So these were the three that came in the Tuscany builder block. So if you win, you actually get to choose from any of the three builder blocks. So you would get 9 of these total in the colors that you want. And that's like $1 bajillion worth of this thread. I mean, this thread isn't cheap, and it lasts a long time. So it's worth just entering on their blog. It really is. And I think someone here, I think Gretchen might have actually won one of the months. Is that right, or was that for the Splendid Sampler? I can't remember, but I'm telling you, that's like over $100 for sure of thread. So it's worth plopping up your photo. Especially, I know some of you guys are putting it on the Penguin and Fish group. So when you put it there, be sure to put it up on the Aurifil blog as well. Oh, good. Marie says that she's going to get hers done and enter. Good. I'm trying to think of the best path for this. I think we'll go straight here. This is going to go super fast. I actually think I might have to start a new piece of thread, though. Because I don't think one thread is going to get me through this whole thing. It'll get close, though. Yeah, sometimes it's a little hard to stab through there. But yeah, so there's still, I think, while it's the month you can enter, so if I remember correctly, so like you can still enter October's block, which is that pinwheel one, the one that we just finished. And then next month, like you might have until they release the next month. So they release a new one every 15th. I'm not sure on this. So either get it in by the end of the month, or maybe it's the 15th of the next month, but it's just for the month before. So you can enter your October block, and then they announce it, who won, when they release the next block, I believe. And I think it's random. It's not like you're being judged on how well you did or whatever. So it's a random winner. Yeah, the Aurifil thread is great, and I mean, to have like 9 spools of it is like intense. That will last a long time. if I were to win, I would probably get a pack that has a nice neutral in, like this Tuscany pack. Like, I think this is a really kind of nice neutral, maybe a little dark, but would work on a lot of stuff. So I'd make sure I'd get some with some neutrals, because, you know, you use that for everything. You can piece lots of different colors when you use a neutral. And then I'd get some that have just, like, the super fun colors, and just to play around with, like, some pretty top stitching of things. Like a pretty color for the top, for the quilting of a quilt would be kind of cool. I think I caught something. Oh, no, we're fine still. It's looking so cute on the back with all these little baby stitches. All right. We're getting there. I'm just kind of following the line of the ribbon. Like, I'm thinking of it as like a real ribbon and just kind of sticking along the edge. Oh, Marie says, I think you have until the 14th of November. Okay, so new blocks are released on the 15th, so it sounds like you have till the 15th. Good. So you could get 12 of these blocks done. These blocks would be pretty as a whole quilt, that's for sure. This easy, the centered pinwheel one. You could just do all the parts all at once. Be a relatively quick quilt, I think. Kind of fun to do. Actually, we discovered when I was in my mom's sewing room, and we were looking through stuff. We were trying to find something, and came across a whole pile of fabrics of like really like whites and creams, and then this cream with a really pretty pattern on. Actually, the same pattern from my I Love Home quilt, where I had the blue with those flowers. My mom had gotten the same pattern, but with cream as the background, and it's so pretty. And I'm thinking just this pattern, this centered pinwheel pattern, would be a really pretty way to use that fabric up. We were thinking, oh, we should make a quilt out of all that pretty fabric that she saved for like a pretty white quilt, white and cream quilt, and this would be cute. It'd be an option, and it'd be something pretty easy and quick, which is beneficial. Although I didn't do a great job at matching up everything, at matching up the diagonals and stuff, so I need more practice. Okay, we are totally going to have enough thread with just the one strand, so that makes me happy. The one pull. I thought I was going to have to start a whole another one, but 2 more stitches and we'll have this bow done. Ugh, that was fast. So we will be on to the spider web. I think I'm going to do up here first, and then we'll end here, and then the spider will be the last thing we stitch. I think that sounds good. Okay, interesting. So Lisa's saying, hi there, question, does embroidery floss expire? Was given some, never used the floss, but unsure of the age, doesn't look ancient. It shouldn't really expire. However, I would just take a look at it. Like, you know, it's just think of it as cotton. So in theory, it's cotton. I don't know. It could be a polyester blend or something, and in that case, it for sure won't like get old. But with cotton, you just may want to just take a look at it, because it is cotton. So if it's just been sitting around in like a damp area, it might be a little moldy or something like that, I would just maybe even, I haven't really done this before, but I would maybe just like kind of pull on it, and if it feels like it's going to fray or kind of pull apart, then maybe it's not so good. But my guess is that it's probably perfectly fine. People wonder that sometimes when they get thread, like sewing thread, on those old wooden spools, and it's kind of the same thing, except for that thread kind of has to hold two pieces of fabric together. So that has a more, this is like just decorative, right? But that has like a physical purpose that it needs to serve. So that might be a little riskier using like sewing thread that's old. But I think you're probably going to be fine with the embroidery thread. So I wouldn't worry about it. Yes, like what Marie says, I still use some that are 20 years old, and it's okay. Someone I saw it go by quick. Someone says that she's got 60-year-old floss that she's using. Yeah, I would just use your judgment. If it looks good, then it's probably fine. If it looks kind of a little off, or there's some discoloration or something, that's probably mold or something like that, and then you might want to just toss it. Okay, some white. Let's start up here. So this is, everything else basically at this point is the split stitch, so we're going to just keep doing that. So alright, what is the path that I should take here? So my mom asked me this when she was working on it too, and I think I said that I was going to go around these little coils first, and then I was going to come back and do all these long lines, and then maybe go all the way around. So, I don't know. Sounds good to me. Let's do that. So I'm going to still use that loop method because I'm just getting a kick out of that. So let's get a double long piece. So I'm just going to go, like I'm just holding it in half like this, like how I would use it just to get the length. We'll snip about right there. Okay, and now we'll get our one thread at a time. Okay, so Jenna says that I find that my older thread just knots a little bit more easily, but maybe thread conditioner would help with that. So that's a good suggestion for sure. All right. Speaking of, why don't we get some of that thread conditioner out and use it right now? If anything, it smells yummy. All right, let's use the Earl Grey today. So this is the Wisecraft handmade thread gloss that I'm using again. Oh, Lynn says, I love starting with the loop on my counted cross stitch. Nice. I was just watching the TikToks earlier today, and I saw someone do that with her cross stitch as well. She was showing how to do the loop method. Okay, Tracy's asking, is there a difference between embroidery thread and craft thread? So I've just been saying, well, yeah, so if I had to guess what you're meaning, there's like craft thread, I'm guessing you're thinking of the stuff that looks like embroidery floss, but it's like super cheap, like you get a whole giant bag for like super cheap or something. And you're wondering kind of like, well, why is that one super cheap and this embroidery floss is not as much? So, in theory, it's the same thing, but it's a quality difference, and it could be a material difference too. So, there's cotton embroidery floss, like what we're using here. And, you know, sometimes it'll say cotton embroidery floss, but you got to make sure that it's like 100% cotton embroidery floss, and, you know, even better, like the 100% Egyptian long staple threads. So that particular cotton has like longer, it's made out of like longer pieces. I can't think of the word. But anyway, longer fibers. There we go. And a lot of the craft thread, like a lot of the thread that just comes like a ton in a bag or something, is not always 100% cotton. And it's like half polyester or something, which is fine. However, one of the big difference I find is that you can't separate it very well. So it's difficult to pull a different number of strands out. So yeah, someone mentioned, oh yeah, Gina says, I wouldn't use it except for like friendship bracelets. And that's kind of where I think about it as well. You're just going to get frustrated if you try and embroider with it. So you can, but again, separating the threads is not going to be ideal, and it's going to just fray and fuzz up and just kind of break and twist pretty poorly if you try and do it with embroidery. So that's kind of the big thing. I mean, maybe you can get away if you like super duper run it through the conditioner. But again, the splitting the threads is not going to be easy. But if you've never done it before and you want to give it a try or just play around, you know, I suppose there's nothing, you know, nothing that totally horrible about it. But yeah, specifically for embroidery, it might be just a little tough. I think I'm going to just jump right up here. We are going to finish this twirl in the center here before moving on. So I don't know, hopefully that helps a little bit. But yeah, that's the tricky thing with all these crafts is there's you know, with quilting especially too, there's cheaper alternatives and they're fine. But the bummer is that if someone gets so frustrated, like let's say a beginner embroiderer uses that. They've never embroidered before and they get some of that. It might be so frustrating to stitch that they just might not do it again, which would be a huge bummer. So you don't have to go like the super highest quality as a beginner for sure, but just some things work a little bit better with a little higher quality. I think kind of the same thing goes for paint too. But neither should stop someone from trying, I don't think. Yeah, exactly. Noeline says you can embroider with the cheaper threads. You just can't split the thread. Yeah, it's just not easy to split the thread. However, if you have a needle big enough, you could use all 6 strands, so just like try not to split it at all, and then you could stitch through like felt probably pretty easily with some craft thread. All right, I gotta plan out my next move here. Where did I'm at the bottom. Yeah, okay, so I ended up right here. I think I want to do these inside lines. Okay, maybe I'll go up here, then down here, and then cross back. And then I might be out of thread by then. Okay, that's a good first step at least. Let's just go with it. and then I'm going to go down this long one here. And you know, there's cheap embroidery floss that comes with that's 100% cotton, and that you will be able to separate and stitch with it like this, and it might be easier, or it might be easy still to separate. But again, just as you're stitching, the wear on the thread as you stitch might be a little bit more noticeable. Just from rubbing through the fabric with each stitch, that friction can wear away on thread as you stitch. And then, of course, there's just color selection, too. With the cheap stuff, you won't always have that selection or be able to go back and get the same color. But I'm pretty sure I must have some of that in my bins of embroidery floss. All right, I'm going to come back and start the outside right here. Ugh, I don't think we're going to get very far. Maybe we can get that other teeny little bit on the other side of here. I think we can. There's about maybe 2 stitches right there. I think we can do that. Oh yay, Darlene downloaded the block too. Yeah, I just love how it turned out. I think purple, all those purples were just the right color for that block too. That was fun. I didn't really have all that many purples to pick from, but I like what we ended up with. All right, this is going to be my last stitch. It's just, I don't know. I probably could get 1 or 2 more stitches with it, but I think I'm going to just start a new one. So we're gradually covering up all those black lines. It'll be interesting once we get rid of the Fabri-Salvi and we won't see any of those lines at all. Or the stick and stitch. It used to be called Fabri-Salvi, and sometimes I still call it that. Okay, 1, 2. So you guys, we are going to finish this tomorrow. We'll finish the whole thing. Like, we'll take the stick and stitch off, and I'll show you how to press the embroidery too. So I will take off the, did I say Fabri-Salvi again? We'll take off the stick and stitch, and then press it right away, and that will dry it out. I have a little process for that I do. And then Friday, and maybe even we start tomorrow, I want to stitch the Tyranno embroidery kit, because now I have the Tyranno. It's that cute little Tyrannosaurus Rex kit. But I have, ooh, this guy's stuck. There we go. I have that free pattern that goes with that now, that Tyranno dress up. So it's kind of like a paper doll, but for your Tyranno. And it's basically, I have some winter and some summer clothes for him. And I thought that'd be kind of like a fun, pre-Halloween thing to do. It's like a monster, basically, that we're dressing up. Almost for trick-or-treating, I suppose, but more for winter. And I'm excited to stitch that on Friday, or at least put together an outfit for him. So we can pick what he's going to wear together, and I'll trace that on, and then we can maybe start stitching him. I'm kind of pretty excited about that. And I think we'll have time to do that on Friday, or right before Halloween. Oh, and speaking of before Halloween, this pattern is only available till Saturday, so that's Halloween, right? Yeah, so till Saturday, and then in November we will get the new Embroidery of the Month. All right, I gotta map this out again. What I'm trying to do is like, what's the shortest path? Like where I don't have to jump the thread a lot, but this is a little goofy with these triangles. I could go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'd have to jump up to here and do the rest. I think that's probably the best path. So how did we do that again? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we'll do that. So starting from the center. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's basically the same type of jump. Well, whatever. We're going right here. So we're doing that loop method again. Gina's asking, will you make the clothes interchangeable? They are interchangeable. So that's the fun. So if you go look at the listing, I think I sent an email out about it too. But you can kind of see, there's a picture of the free pattern that comes with the kit. And you can see there's a page on there where you can see like all the little bits. So there's lots of different hats you can wear, a lot of different shoes you can wear. There's some earmuffs. There's like a bubble coat, like one of those poofy coats. There's even some like a football. There's some ice skates. And then you can stitch it whatever color you like. There's some kind of suggestions or some ideas on how to put clothes on him on the front of the pattern. So you can see some of those, but all the elements are separate. So you can mix and match. And that's what I think is going to be so fun about it. So that's what I want your help on either we might start tomorrow, but otherwise it'll be, maybe we'll just start on Friday. Start fresh on Friday. If we finish this early, then maybe we'll just do some improv piecing or something. I think it's probably better to start fresh on Friday with that new project. So, but I'm hoping that you guys help me dress him up. So that'll be fun. I'm excited to play around with that. Kind of like him on ice skates with the bubble coat, but we'll see. I'm excited. So I'll show you how you could play around with that too. So I'm definitely going to use a water-soluble marker when, oh wait, I was going to go down this way. A water-soluble marker, because then I can trace the whole Tyranno on first, and then we can draw the other stuff on them, and then we just won't stitch the parts of the Tyranno that, we put clothes on. So you won't be able to tell like the full look, I guess, until we take that off, and we'll have to make sure that we don't accidentally stitch something that was like underneath the clothing. But there's one of those fuzzy hats that I love, like those, oh, I think I might have stabbed this. I sure did. All right, let's undo that. I stabbed them through my thread there, through the side of my fabric. I thought that felt a little funny. Glad I didn't get too far. And there's some summer clothes too. Because I know it's not winter for everybody. And maybe he went on a vacation. So there's a little summer outfit for him too. Some flip-flops for him. And some sunscreen. So I do have actually a little bottle of sunscreen drawn that he can hold in his tiny little hands. There's tiny little mittens for him too, and it's gonna be fun. So we'll have to put together an outfit. So yeah, so that'll be Friday. almost done up here. About 2 stitches here or so, and then we'll go, I think we'll have enough for this whole way down. All right, so I'm going to just jump up here. Now, normally I wouldn't want to jump this far, but we're actually going to be stitching right along that line. So my guess is that I will actually be getting some of these. I'll be like tacking down some of these threads as I come down the line here. So I'm not too worried about jumping up. I am a little worried about having enough thread. Luckily, the split stitch doesn't use too much thread. We'll maybe just make some bigger stitches and see if that helps. Yep, dino flip-flops. So I was having like just, you know, I had this idea in my head to like make little clothes for him. But when I got started, I'm like, oh, this would be cute, and this would be cute, and they were just looking kind of fun when I was drawing it. There are some, oh, I did do heels. Yes, so there are some winter boots that do have heels, I believe, yes. So there are, he does have some heels if you want those. Oh, and there's some tennis shoes as well, or sneakers, or however you call it. They are tennis shoes in my world. Running shoes. But yeah, and then you can do whatever colors. You could fill them in if you wanted. So the stitching, what stitches to use are kind of up to you. But as far as the little designs, those are, we can trace there. No evening wear, so I just basically kept it to just winter outdoor gear, but evening wear would be pretty funny actually. So it isn't like a full, you know, every occasion sort of thing. It is just basically for winter, but then I threw a summer in there as well. Okay, just about done. 2 more stitches, totally had enough thread. This is looking pretty. Little spider web. Everything is looking much daintier with the, with just the 2 strands instead of my normal 3 strands, so that's been kind of interesting. Ooh, it looks like gray from back here, but that's just because there's the black lines underneath, I think. So those will all go away. Awesome, so let's just go boop, boop, boop. And see where we're at. We might get this spider done yet, too. Gosh, if all we have to do is take off the stick and stitch, maybe I will, just start the dinosaur tomorrow then, maybe. Maybe we will speed that up a little bit. Take this stick and stitch off quickly and start the dino a little farther than I thought I'd get tonight, so that's good. Back is looking awfully pretty still. All right. Where we're at. Zoop, zoop, zoop. I think that's our path. Let's get another strand of floss here. We'll use the thread conditioner again just because it's fun. A monocle would be funny. Let me think of, I think there's some high-heeled boots for, that could also be like Santa boots, so those kind of go either way. And then there are tennis shoes, sandals, or like flip-flops, ice skates. I thought I had one more. Oh, and then like basically moon boots, like big ol' winter boots. So those are the shoes. I think, well, he's got mittens. There's a scarf and one of those poofy coats. So that's kind of his body wear, I suppose. Oh, and then he's got some swim trunks for the summer. And for hats, he has he has sunglasses. Just like a knit stocking cap with a poof on the top. There's earmuffs. And there's one of those, God, I forget what they're called all the time, but those like Russian hats with those big, with the fur rim and fur ears, one of those hunting hats. And then also he has a football, because it's football season in winter. Oh, yes, that's right. Rebecca says a mask. Yep, there's a mask for COVID-19 as well. So he does have his mask. He's not going outside without his mask. Man, I forgot about that already. You are right, Rebecca. He's got his mask. It is a hefty-sized mask because he's got a big face. And then there's a football. And then some summer things. There's a soccer ball, a beach ball, and some sunscreen. I think that's all of it. So, any of those things we can pair together. I think that'll be fun. Fun. Forgot about the mask. Alright. Nice and easy extra little web in here. Like he's tricking you, that spider. Look, my web's over there, but he's hiding on the other side, ready to pounce. Like a jerk butt. I may need a little bit more floss. Maybe not, actually. This is going to take us this whole way, I think. I'm doing some pretty big stitches too, but I kind of like that. Okay. And one more little stretch, and then we'll do the spider, which is in that dark gray, the thunder gray, which is the color of that I have the leaves here. My mom on the black version, she actually switched the leaves and the stems are the dark gray, the thunder, and then the roses are the light gray or the overcast color. And she switched those two around, so her roses are the dark gray and the stems and leaves are the light gray, and it actually looks really, really sweet. I kind of like that colorway too. She said she did it by accident, but I like how it turned out. And it's so pretty on the red too, because she stitched it on a red background. That was kind of a fun, pretty surprise. And I just love seeing all your guys' versions, like with some yellow roses and some variegated threads being used. That would be fun to try. I love that look where the roses just keep changing color throughout. That's just kind of cool. And lots of fun things that you guys are making with them. I'm excited. I'm excited to share November's too. That'll be next week already, right? Sheesh. Yep. Next week, Sunday actually. Sunday is when the new Embroidery of the Month is being released. So just a little bit more time to grab this. And again, we do have it at the bundle, which is the black and has all the thread and everything in, and then with the digital pattern, and then there's also the digital pattern that comes by itself as well, if you just want that. Then I take that down and we will put up November's. All right. Boop. Last one. So Jenna, who was here a little while ago on Facebook, but she works with me, and she put together a whole pile of November Embroidery of the Months today. So when you order, like if you order early on early December or early November, it's gonna ship right away because we made a bunch already. So if you're in the first bunch, then it'll go out right away. All right, here we are. We're getting there. How are we doing on time? We can totally do this yet. So some of you guys actually stitched this into a satin stitch, and it looked just so cool. I really liked it. However, I am gonna just stick to the split stitch. Whenever I say split stitch, stem stitch comes in my head first, so I always pause every time I say split stitch. But I am going to just stick to the split stitch just so I can have like a one-to-one comparison of these two, really. But I do love his body filled in with the satin stitch. Those look cute. I don't have any scraps of this, I guess. Oh well, let's just get a big piece again because I'm liking working that way. Maybe a slightly smaller piece. I'm liking working with the one strand, even though I'll probably only need like 2 of these, but oh well. Oh good, so Gretchen was wondering about this, I remember earlier, but she said that she used metallic thread for the spider, and she was worried about what the stick and stitch was going to be like. And she said it worked well, so that's good. Oh yeah, we fall back on in between Saturday and Sunday, don't we? So, okay, well, I think technically the time change. So this is where it's going to get all weird. So, come Friday, for sure. Well, okay, let's just figure it out. So I think, so we fall back. So when it is 8:30 now, it would be 7:30 for me. So I think I think how it works is if you don't have a time change, like if you're in an area where you don't fall back. If you do fall back, like I do, I'm going to fall back. So my 8:30 starting on Monday will now, well, starting Sunday really, but for us here on the show on Monday, what was my 8:30 will now be my 7:30. So I will still be coming on at 8:30, but it will be an hour earlier. So, which I think pushes it an hour later for everyone else. So this is where it gets confusing. So if you don't change, like if your time does not change in between Saturday and Sunday this week, then I will actually be on an hour later for you. And I think that's correct. Because, let's see. Here's 8:30, but I will jump back. But this time we'll keep going forward. Yep, so you'll be on an hour later than usual. That's how it works for this one. So, that always confuses me a little bit, though. All right, I'm going to start here. Kathy says, my days all run together, so the time change doesn't bother me. Yep, I'm feeling a lot of that too. So yeah, so like, if you're in Australia or something, for example, your time will be, you'll pop on here with me an hour later than you normally do. And then I know it's just so silly. Some states don't do the time change. I think some counties don't do the time change. So it is all just a crazy town. Luann, so yes, correct. If you usually watch me at 9:30 and you have a time change, it will still be 9:30, but it will be as if it will feel like 8:30. So technically it will be still at 9:30, right? Like when I come on, it's still going to be 8:30 when I come on. Like I come on at 8:30 for me. I'm still going to come on at 8:30. That 8:30 is just going to be an hour earlier. If that, just to confuse it even more. So yeah, if you're on the East Coast and you're coming in at 9:30, you'll still come on at 9:30, but that 9:30 is just going to be an hour earlier. So that's the deal. So Indiana, we fall back, but it will still be 9:30. So yes, if you come on at 9:30, or if you usually watch at 9:30 and you fall back, you will still watch when the clock says 9:30. But it will feel like an hour earlier. It will feel like 8:30, but it will really, for you, be still 9:30. So Darlene says in Idaho, they change. I know in some... my father-in-law, John's dad, used to travel a ton for work, and he had to keep track, like, for the time change, he had to keep track of, like, 3 different areas, because, like, he'd have the time change, but the place he was going, like the airport or something, didn't have the time change, but the county he was going to within that state did have the time change, so something like that. But I just remember he had a lot to figure out with the time change, always. Yes, exactly. Lynn says, maybe now my eyes won't be too tired to work on my cross stitch. I love this time change. Yes, so it'll sort of be an hour earlier, even though the clock will still say the same thing. Oh, so Gina says, I think Arizona doesn't change. That kind of sounds right, because I think that might have been one of the places that he went to. Does Tennessee change? I think he used to go there a lot too, but maybe, you know what, I think it is Arizona. That's what I have in my head. Luann says, oh Lord, thank God for notifications. I know, right? I am sort of trusting my phone to always be correct. Ugh, I'm going to have to change my watch. And this is the time of year where it takes us 4 months to change the oven and microwave clock. All right, I think I'm going to stitch in the back of these a little bit, just because I don't know, I don't think I want this gray thread showing on the back by jumping around very much, so I guess I'm going to just come back to all these stitches each time, or travel back through all the legs, I suppose. This is looking cute though, little gray spider. Oh, Erica says, Arizona, that's one of the perks of living there. Ugh, that you don't have to deal with the time change. It's so freaking silly. And what's a bummer, I mean, yeah, it'll be a little bit lighter in the mornings, I suppose, but ugh, it's just going to be pitch black when I leave the warehouse at 5:30. So I leave at 5:30, and it's going to just be completely black. That's just... I'm a little stressed thinking about that, actually. Boo! Ooh, Erica said, I heard that Washington State's last switch. Oh, that this might be Washington State's last switch. Interesting. Oh, yes, Rebecca says we get an extra hour of sleep. Yes, this is the lovely magic hour of extra sleep one versus the spring, when we spring forward and we lose that hour. That's just bogus, but still. There's a podcast, I think I talk about this every year, but there's a podcast called How Stuff Works, and they talk about this time change. And I mean, there's like more depression that happens with the time change, and like there's just like no real actual good reason to keep it anymore, so I don't know. It just seems like such a weird thing. I think we are going to need another thing of thread here. Gosh, we're almost going to finish. I suppose we probably just shouldn't we? Stay a little bit later tonight and just finish the like probably 20 stitches I have left. That's probably a good idea, right? So we'll stay a little bit longer. This would be super silly to just stop now. Oh, I can't stab that one. There we go. Amy says, I think the time change is the government trying to kill us. I know, right? At least it yeah, exactly. Luann says it's already dark here. Jenna and I were talking about that yesterday, that yesterday we left, at 5:30 and it was already feeling like golden hour, really, where the sun is just hitting everything all nicely. Happening way too early. I feel like the snow happened. We had that 6.5 inches of snow, like crazy town, and then immediately the sun just stopped. Like it just decided, okay, I'm ready to set really early now. Just all happened at once. Jenna says, eating the first pumpkin pie of the season. Dang. Nice. Alright. I think I might just, since I know for sure that this thread is not going to last me much longer, I think I'm going to just weave it in. I probably could have gotten a couple more stitches, but not enough for the whole thing. Look at it on the back, it's so dainty, these two strands of thread. Oh, this whole back looks dainty. Maybe I should be more of a dainty stitcher. I should do these little baby stitches more often. I would love to try, there's that style of embroidery. I don't know if you cruise Instagram, embroidery stuff on Instagram, but there's that style that people are doing with like one strand of black, and then they're like doing these really intricate outlines, and a lot of times they're like people and that sort of thing, but it's just kind of like a black outline. And a lot of times I think they're just using one strand because they're getting just a lot of detail and these small pieces, and that would be kind of fun to try. Just like, I guess it would be kind of like red work or blue work or black work, really. That's where you stitch like the whole design with one color. It'd kind of be like that. Gonna finish it. Okay, we'll start on this leg here. And then we'll come up on the other leg. And then get the circle body, and then that is it. thought for a sec that I forgot the little petal down there, but we got him. Ooh, Kathy says I'm doing a red work quilt. So that is one thing I definitely want to do someday, is just two versions of this, really. I'd love to do like a red work quilt. Actually, that's kind of what I was trying to do a little bit with my I Love Home quilt. I did it all in one color. So I feel like I got a little bit of a feel of that, although there was a lot of applique and a lot more going on. But I would love to do like a one color quilt, like a white quilt, with just the red stitching. Ugh, that sounds just beautiful. Kathy, you'll have to share it, but I would love to do that as a project. And then I'd also love to do a whole cloth quilt. So again, just like one color, like a white, although like a rich blue would be really pretty too. And then you just quilt it. That's it. So you just do like super fancy quilting over the whole entire thing. There's no piecing, there's no nothing. It's just quilting. That's a project I'd like to do sometime. Ugh, man, now I really want to do that actually. I'm just like, I gotta think of like some design to do for that. Oh, that'd be fun. All right, legs are on. Let's head around. So I'll probably make these quite a bit smaller, these stitches, just because we are going around a circle and these rounded shapes. Ugh, you know what? I'm going to do the stabbing method. I'm going to do the stabbed back stitch instead for this, because then you can stab from the front. It uses a ton more floss than the split stitch, but on the front it looks exactly the same. So it's basically a back stitch, but I'm going a little bit further to like split the thread. So like I'm going front of the stitch, then stitching backwards, but splitting the past the stitch from before. So way easier, but uses a bit more thread. So I've been trying to stick with the split stitch, but I'm cheating now because I think it's just going to be easier for the curves to go from the top. Then you're not looking around for how to come up from the bottom. So we'll finish it up by cheating. Sounds good. Ooh, Amy says I have a long arm and it's still too chicken to do a whole cloth. Oh, you should do it. You should just throw some sheets in there. Just get like I guess I don't know if that's good for a long arm or something, but like get like a sheet set or something if you don't want to like use expensive fabric or something. I suppose sheets are probably expensive too. Ugh, that sounds like fun though. That's like the ideal long arm situation. I suppose every stitch is basically exposed. There's no like pattern and like pretty fabric or whatever to kind of hide mistakes. So I guess I get it. Oh, Robin says I switched from my to the iPad from the phone and you can see a lot better. Oh, that's good. All right, this is the last little stitch stabbing in here. Last stitch. All right, there we go. Little spider is done. Oh, he looks so delicate and dainty there. Like, ugh, he's so little. Okay. I'm really kind of happy with him. All right. Let's snip this and call it an evening. Man, that only took 5 extra minutes too. That's great. So I'm going to take it out of the hoop. And tomorrow, first thing, we will take the stick and stitch off of this and then press it. So that'll take all the water out of it. Ugh, so we are going to be done like real quick tomorrow, and then we can start dressing up the Tyranno. So we will start the Tyranno tomorrow and actually start stitching and everything. So that'll be great. Yay! I'm excited we get to do that quickly. Kathy's asking, do I put my initials on your projects? I don't usually. On the quilts, I do have a little penguin and fish tag. I do put that in. And like if I turn this into a pouch or something, the final product, I might throw that penguin and fish tag or something. But I don't know. I don't usually put it on directly on the piece. But I think it's wonderful when people do, and I love that little bit. I just, when they're at this stage, I don't really know what I'm going to end up doing with them. So I'm like, I don't know if I want to put my initials on there or not. But ideally, putting the date on I always like and all that. So maybe I should start doing more of that stuff. All right, you guys. There we go. Hello again. So here is the finished bit. And this is going to be really fun tomorrow to take this stick and stitch off. I really want that final effect of what the light color is going to be versus that dark color. So then you can choose if you like one or the other. And again, my mom did it on that pretty red, and that turned out nice as well. And if you're wondering why we're doing this, because it's Aurifil week, Aurifil block of the month week, we finished our Aurifil block last night. It only took 2 days, so this is what it looks like. It is just this lovely, lovely purple prettiness. I just love it. And 2 days, that's a 2-hour block. 2-hour block with yammering and talking during it too. So I feel awesome about that. I could see making more of those for sure. So awesome. Thank you guys again for joining me last week to get this kit, the Bride of Frankenstein's Bouquet. And we'll finish this up and start that Tyranno tomorrow. So thanks guys. Have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.